This narrative explores a deeply emotional journey centered on a long-standing public couple whose life together is suddenly shaken by an unexpected health concern. What begins as ordinary fatigue and small signs of discomfort gradually turns into a period of uncertainty, fear, and emotional strain. As they move through hospital visits, medical evaluations, and difficult waiting periods, their bond is tested in profound ways. Yet, alongside the fear, there is also devotion, compassion, and unwavering support. The story highlights how love becomes a stabilizing force during crisis, how vulnerability can strengthen connection, and how even the darkest experiences can eventually lead to hope, purpose, and renewed meaning in life. The beginning of subtle warning signs. The situation begins quietly, without immediate alarm or dramatic indication. Small changes in energy and health are initially dismissed as stress or overwork. One partner begins to feel persistent fatigue, while the other notices but assumes it is temporary. In many real-life situations, such early signs are easy to overlook because daily routines often take priority over personal well-being. However, as time passes, these small signals begin to accumulate and create concern. What once felt minor slowly becomes impossible to ignore. This stage reflects how health challenges often develop gradually, giving a false sense of normalcy before revealing their seriousness. The emotional tone shifts subtly from casual concern to growing unease, setting the stage for a more serious discovery. It is in these early moments that uncertainty begins to take root, quietly changing how both individuals perceive their shared life and future together. The shift from normal life to concern. As symptoms progress, the couple begins to recognize that something more serious may be unfolding. Everyday life, once filled with comfort and routine, starts to feel uncertain. Conversations become more cautious, and attention turns toward possible explanations for the changes being experienced. Medical advice is sought, and the first evaluations begin. This transition marks a turning point, where ordinary worries transform into deeper anxiety. The emotional atmosphere at home changes, as both partners start preparing themselves for possibilities they had never previously considered. Hospital environments, tests, and waiting rooms become part of their reality. These moments are emotionally challenging, filled with anticipation and unanswered questions. The experience reflects how quickly life can shift from stability to uncertainty, reminding them that health can never be taken for granted. Even in the midst of fear, there is a shared determination to understand what is happening and face it together. Receiving difficult medical information. Eventually, medical professionals provide results that confirm their fears. The diagnosis introduces a level of seriousness that changes everything. What was once uncertainty becomes a clear but difficult reality. For both individuals, this moment feels overwhelming, as it forces them to confront the fragility of life and the unpredictability of the future. Emotional shock follows, along with an attempt to process what the information means for their relationship and family. Despite the heaviness of the news, there is also a sense of clarity, as understanding the situation allows them to begin planning next steps. Emotional reactions vary between fear, sadness, and determination, but underneath it all remains a shared commitment not to face the challenge alone. This stage represents a powerful emotional shift, where life is divided into before and after. It becomes a test of inner strength, resilience, and the ability to remain connected during overwhelming circumstances. Emotional strength and the role of support. As the situation unfolds, emotional support becomes essential. One partner takes on the role of caregiver and emotional anchor, providing reassurance during moments of fear and uncertainty. This support is not always expressed through words but often through presence, touch, and quiet understanding. Being together during difficult medical visits and long hospital hours strengthens their connection in unexpected ways. The emotional weight is heavy, but shared strength helps make it more bearable. There are moments of vulnerability, where fear becomes overwhelming, but those moments are softened by compassion and mutual care. This stage of the journey highlights how relationships can deepen during hardship. Instead of pulling apart under pressure, the couple becomes more closely connected. The act of standing beside one another through uncertainty becomes a powerful expression of love, proving that emotional support can be just as important as medical treatment in difficult times. Facing setbacks and hospital challenges. The path forward is not smooth. There are moments of improvement followed by sudden setbacks that bring renewed fear. Emergency hospital visits become part of the journey, adding emotional strain and exhaustion. Each setback feels like a step backward, testing their patience and emotional resilience. The hospital environment, with its constant sounds and clinical atmosphere, becomes a space filled with both hope and anxiety. During these moments, time feels distorted, and every decision or update carries significant emotional weight. Despite the fear, there is a continued effort to remain hopeful. The unpredictability of recovery creates emotional ups and downs that are difficult to manage. However, through it all, the couple continues to support each other, refusing to let fear completely take over. These experiences highlight the fragility of health journeys and the emotional endurance required to face them. The power of hope and community support. During this difficult period, support from others begins to play a meaningful role. Friends, viewers, and well-wishers express encouragement, sending messages of hope and solidarity. This collective support becomes an unexpected source of strength. Knowing that others care creates a sense of connection beyond their immediate situation. Emotional encouragement from strangers and supporters helps reduce feelings of isolation. The couple begins to feel that they are not facing the challenge alone. Each message, story, or expression of kindness contributes to emotional resilience. This shared empathy demonstrates how powerful human connection can be during times of crisis. Even when circumstances feel overwhelming, the presence of support from a wider community brings comfort and encouragement. It transforms fear into shared hope, reminding them that compassion can extend far beyond personal relationships. Moments of change and gradual recovery. After a particularly difficult setback, signs of improvement slowly begin to appear. Medical responses show progress, and small victories become significant milestones. These changes bring cautious optimism, as recovery remains uncertain but increasingly possible. One important moment symbolizes this shift: a simple walk down a hospital corridor, representing progress and renewed strength. Though physically small, it carries enormous emotional significance. It marks the beginning of a new phase, where fear starts to ease and hope begins to return. The emotional environment shifts from panic to cautious relief. Doctors note the improvement, reinforcing the sense that progress is being made. While challenges remain, the trajectory begins to change in a positive direction. This stage reflects how recovery often happens gradually, through small steps that eventually lead to meaningful progress over time. Reflection and finding new purpose. Once stability returns, both individuals begin to reflect on what they have experienced. The emotional journey leads them to a deeper understanding of life, gratitude, and resilience. They recognize that their experience, while painful, has given them a new perspective. Instead of focusing only on personal recovery, they begin thinking about others who face similar struggles without support. This reflection becomes a turning point, shifting their perspective from survival to purpose. They begin to consider how their experience can be used to help others going through similar challenges. This stage highlights emotional growth and the transformation of hardship into meaning. It demonstrates how personal struggles can lead to broader awareness and a desire to create positive impact beyond oneself. Gratitude becomes a central theme, as they acknowledge the value of time, support, and healing, turning pain into a legacy of support. In the final stage of their journey, the couple decides to transform their experience into meaningful action. They establish a foundation aimed at supporting families facing sudden medical crises. The goal is to provide emotional and financial assistance to those navigating similar challenges. This decision reflects a desire to turn personal hardship into collective hope. Their story, once defined by fear and uncertainty, evolves into one of purpose and contribution. By using their platform and experience, they aim to bring comfort to others in difficult situations. This transformation represents the idea that even painful experiences can lead to positive change when channeled with intention. Their journey becomes a reminder that love, resilience, and compassion can create lasting impact, not only within a family, but across wider communities. Ultimately, their story stands as an example of how adversity can be transformed into a legacy of care, strength, and hope.